news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Local government units in Metro Manila are strictly enforcing border restrictions as part of the implementation of the so-called GCQ bubble. To give us updates on the situation over in Marikina, we have with us on the line Mayor Marcy Teodoro. Mayor, good morning. It's day one of the GCQ bubble. Do we have any updates so far as mobility and transportation within the local government are concerned?
Yeah, Charles, good morning. What we're implementing now is a heightened restriction in terms of observance or compliance to the minimum public health standard. As much as possible, we don't like to impair the mobility of our constituency. And what we're doing now is more of the positive reinforcement in terms of observing minimum public health standard. For example, in our public transport terminal, we see to it that there is social distancing. There's a regular thermal scanning being done on passengers, and there are sanitation and hygiene area that our passengers could go through before boarding the respective public utility vehicles in going to their desired destination. In terms of border control, what's happening now is that we have moved the border control towards the province of Rizal. So we don't have now border control at the boundary of Rizal and Marikina, similar to what we have before. So, Charles, this is basically the general condition here in Marikina. The other thing that we're doing now is that we're inspecting various retail and commercial establishments as well as industrial and manufacturing areas in Marikina, so that engineering and administrative controls will be in place and instituted.
Right, Mayor, that's good to hear. But then we have the palace saying Metro Manila residents can freely travel to other LGUs within the bubble. What's your take on this? And are you considering maybe implementing stricter border controls to other cities?
Yeah, but the idea here is that you could travel within the bubble, within the subject area, meaning Metro Manila plus the provinces adjacent to it. We recognize that our borders are very porous, really. What is important at this point, Charles, is that everybody should follow the minimum public health standard. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Unlike before, Rizal is under a modified general quarantine. And now, Rizal being included in the bubble, they are now following the general quarantine measures, similar to what we're implementing in Metro Manila. For example, unlike before, minors in Rizal can go out of their residences. And now, given the fact that they are included in the bubble in the one subject area with NCR, minors are no longer allowed to go out of their residences, as well as persons with comorbidities, with immunodeficiency, as well as pregnant women. So this is one control, I think, that is very important to implement in order to minimize the people outside of the residences.
Right, Mayor, meron nga naman pong paghihigpit na ginawa, except that we really do have to observe minimum health standards. But then we have Holy Week coming up. What are the preparations in place to avoid a further spike in infections?
I just had a meeting with our bishop here in Marikina, where we belong to the Diocese of Antipolo. We agreed that all activities of the church related to Lenten season, especially those would encourage mass gathering, will be suspended. My understanding with the church is that all activities of the churches will be done in a digital platform. This is one adjustment, a big adjustment for the church as well as for the parishioners. But we really need to take into consideration the health measures that we are implementing at this point in order to mitigate the effects of the surge that we are experiencing right now. We're having really a problem with the surge given the fact that our healthcare system is now operating beyond its current capacity. Yung mga isolation facility namin kulang na rin, and we're trying to be innovative with it. What we're doing now is that in the case of household members having COVID cases inside the home, we're now moving out those who tested positive in the household, and we allow now members of the family to remain inside in their houses, inside the home. Iba na ngayon, unlike before, we take out those who tested positive. Because of the lack in the facilities needed for quarantine, we are being innovative in order to properly isolate and contain those tested positive.
Right. Talking about innovations, Mayor, on how to stem this virus, do we have any updates on the curfew measures that you have implemented? Are we noting a decrease in the number of violators o nadagdagan pa ba? And how about the areas under granular lockdown?
Sa ngayon, di naman nadadagdagan yung ating mga violators. We avoid punitive measures to be imposed given the fact that where our people are really experiencing hardship in their lives, not only economically, but of course we should also consider their psychosocial condition, given the fact that they have been in quarantine for more than a year now. We also determine not only the capacity to enforce regulations, but more importantly, we should also be able to calibrate our enforcement measures with that of the capacity to comply. Lalo na kung mahirap ang tao, mahirap sa kanila, halimbawa, sabihin natin magsuot ng mga disposable mask or magsuot nito kung wala na silang pambili nito. That's the reason why also we're trying to subsidize some of the needs of our people, especially those who are indigent, so that they could at least effectively, efficiently follow or comply with the given minimum public health standard.
Right, Mayor, you have described to us what the government, the LGU, has been doing as its part, no? But then how is the overall COVID situation over in Marikina insofar as hospital occupancy and vaccinations are concerned?
The number of our cases have increased by, in the past 2 weeks, by more than 200%. So our hospital is operating beyond its capacity. We're trying to upscale our isolation facilities. We're adding identifying new areas, new structures to be used as isolation facility. In terms of vaccination, I think the government should work further so that we could have a timely and appropriate response to the surge. We need to have to be expedient with our vaccination. For example, we're able to secure additional 3,000 vaccines for 3,000 individuals, and we will start vaccinating or try to finish to inoculate the remaining medical frontliners here in the city. Not only those working in the hospitals, but more importantly, those in the front lines, in the barangays. For example, our barangay health workers, our city health employees. So we're doing this as practicable as necessary.
All right, thank you for your time this morning and for your insight. That was Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro. Over the weekend, the Health Department reported a total of 114 new variant cases in the country. Authorities detected 46 additional B117 or UK variant cases. 36 of these local cases are from Metro Manila. Meanwhile, there are 62 new cases of B1351 or the South African variant, 41 of which are in NCR. Finally, we have 6 new cases of the P3 variant first found in the Philippines. 4 of these were detected in the metro. This brings the total number of variant cases in the country to 479. These additional cases were among the 150 samples, mostly coming from labs in NCR. And the Health Department says more information on cases with these variants are being investigated and verified. DILG Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya says the agency is considering expanding curfew protocols to further curb virus transmission. In an interview with 1PH's Ride Radio, Malaya attributed the recent surge in cases to two things. First is public overconfidence due to the arrival of vaccines and their supposedly lax compliance with health protocols. Malaya also said that the first few days of curfew protocols revealed how many people were ignoring protective protocols. And despite criticism that curfew rules were supposedly doing nothing to bring down infections, Malaya said it is an important part of limiting mobility.
Actually, nung nag-impose nga kami ng curfew, binatikos pa ang DILG. Bakit daw kami nag-impose ng curfew? Ang galaw naman ng daw tao nasa sa araw, no?
Oo, bakit sa gabi?
Bakit sa gabi, no? Nako, Jay, mag-ikot-ikot ka sa gabi, ang dami nagkalat. Nasa beer house.
Dami pakalat-kalat.
Nako. Diba? So, we cannot close our eyes to that, no? And pangalawa,
Correct.
When we called for a curfew, nabulabog yung tao. Naku, may curfew na naman. No? So, kumbaga, it had an effect on the mental mental awareness ng tao na, uy, seryoso pa.
May curfew scare na ba tayo?
Oo.
Ayaw na natin magkaroon ng curfew.
Oo. So, ang daming ang lumabag, no? In the first few days, ayaw pang mag-cooperate. No? So, sa tingin namin, this is an important program, itong curfew ito.
Here are other stories on this year's Holy Week amid the pandemic. Activities at the Antipolo Cathedral are suspended due to the rise in COVID-19 infections. Manila and Muntinlupa churches also canceled religious gatherings, such as Pabasa and Holy Week processions. However, devotees can still attend Holy Week masses and other church activities online. Meanwhile, the Antipolo City LGU has canceled the traditional pilgrimage to their city, known as Alay Lakad, for the second straight year. Mayor Andeng Inares says they made this decision upon consultation with the Diocese of Antipolo and the management of the Antipolo Cathedral. And the CBCP says the Catholic Church is open to the possible implementation of a religious lockdown during the Holy Week. CBCP Executive Secretary Jerome Siciliano tells One News the churches are ready to conduct holy masses without public participation.
So if the IATF, for example, is going to tell us that people should not anymore go out, then we are going to do what we did last year. Meaning to say, churches are closed, but we are doing the celebrations inside the church with no participation, without the participation of the public.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.